Make it a little drunker, and I'll probably think of some stuff.
Oh, you drinking right now?
Yeah, that's why. That's where I came up with all the names the other day. And then as soon as
Perfect.
I sobered up, I was like, this is too weird. I don't want to add anything. So I kept all my names in my head, and they disappeared.
Yeah,
No,
it's
that's
kind of
perfect.
how my like kind of how it went for me. Like, yeah, your suggestions seem good, but then once I sobered up, they
They seem
seem like
stupid.
shit. Yeah.
Hey, fuck you. I still think they're good.
Yeah, you guys excited about our
Fuck
unnamed podcast?
Unnamed.
I guess I'm excited. Yeah, I'm anxious.
I quite like Three Scrubs in a Tub, but I feel like that's from something.
At this rate, it's probably going to be that because no one else can think of anything.
Yeah, which is a little sad.
Damn it, Tyler.
Just a little bit.
Why'd you have to come up with something adequate?
It does, I think it is from something. It does.
I think it is from something. So.
Yeah. Have you Googled it?
I have not. I've been.
It's fine. But yeah, when we were talking last week, you guys brought up Hello Internet, and I was subscribed to them, but I didn't ever listen to them. So, like I started on episode 1, and they're in like the hundreds now, right?
Yeah. Or just 100 something. They don't actually make that many.
But it's quality. Like they have that quality.
Yeah.
You can tell they're perfectionists. At least
Brady a perfectionist? What?
No, at least what is his name?
Oh,
CGP Grey.
Yeah, CGP. Yeah. He's definitely a perfectionist.
I love if you've seen CGP Grey's recent videos, it's like it was one where he was exploring some missile site, but like there was tumbleweeds everywhere. It's like some sort of weird like thing with him now where either he's obsessed with them or like they're obsessed with him.
I haven't actually seen any of either one of their personal videos, like they're on their YouTube channels. I've only listened to the podcast so far. I want to get some kind of intro going. We don't even have a name yet.
I haven't clicked on one of them.
It's kind of great because the Discord is technically my Discord, and I don't even check the thing.
I forgot about that.
I muted it like a long time ago, like 3 years ago, because like you guys would just use it as like a casual conversation group thing, and it was just like spamming you with notifications.
Not us.
I don't know. But yeah, so I looked up Hello Internet's stuff. I got to I think I'm on episode 4, and I really want Kelsey to listen to it. I want to see if I can get her into it because I think it's really funny to hear their wives' reactions to the podcast. Like I think in episode 4 they like opened up with like a talking about every episode so far. They always talk about like the feedback on the episode before, and in the beginning they never even launched it on YouTube yet, so they're giving feedback of their own feedback.
Yeah.
And
forgot about that.
Yeah, and they asked their wife about one of the episodes, and I think it was CGP's wife, and it was the one with the light bulbs, where they're basically saying you have 4 light bulbs, like you have work, you have family and friends, health, and one more. But it's like how you balance your work and life, and the way CGP does it is just like all or nothing. Like he like all out work or all out family. He can't do both at the same time, and he purposely made the decision to turn off his health light bulb. Like he's like, I'm gonna need to really hammer down on YouTube in order to get the amount of numbers that I need in the amount of time that my goal is. And in order to do that, I need to turn my health light bulb completely off, put it on 0. I'm going to purposely be unhealthy. Like that's the decision that he made. And the entire time Brady's kind of making fun of him for that because it's like, that's not something a normal person would do, like a sane person would do. Just like turn your health light bulb like completely off. And then they go to show it to...
I do not need this weakness.
And then they go to show it to their wife, and like his wife like didn't even like answer like the question with what she would turn on and off. She's like constantly doing everything, work, family, all this stuff, and she basically just making fun of him because it just sounds like he's being lazy.
Yeah.
But
I can kind of get where he's coming at.
Yeah.
I can't, like, I feel like when I was a little bit younger, I could do that, where I would focus on one thing at a time. But that's just because I wasn't very good at balancing. But say after I got through college, I gained the ability to you know like keep them at a certain, I want to say, like a minimal level. Like, if it's like a 20% or something like that, I keep everything at 20%, and then at least, and then adjust from there.
yeah, but the way the CGP made it sound, if you did that, is basically you're a failure at everything if you do everything equally. And I don't think
Yeah,
that's
well,
true.
I'm not
I
trying
mean,
to do everything equally, but like doing everything, within moderation. Like, I'm not going to stop
sustainable.
wiping my ass tomorrow and fucking smell like hell, and then I get fired from work because they're like, Tyler, you smell too much and you're ugly and that
I
kind
mean,
of
that's
shit.
how you lost your pizza job.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good thing.
Wait, is this a
It's how-
thing?
This isn't how I lost it, but what was it? When I worked there, I was using like an old expired deodorant, and my boss called me like into the back one day, and he's just like, "You use deodorant?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Use a different deodorant or something like that." It's like,
Uh,
oh, I guess it doesn't work as well.
Like thrown into the bus there.
Yeah, thanks. It's
That was
fine. We
a-
can edit it out.
that was yeah. That was a
Edit it
crap
out.
job. That was a crap job anyway. The pizza place.
Yeah, I
But-
wasn't
Yeah,
fired from the place.
They didn't.
so-
They didn't deserve.
just fired on the spot.
Well, that's my
Wow.
canon.
Yeah, but no, I'm glad
They
you
didn't
guys.
deserve to have a good smelling Tyler. They didn't treat
Yeah.
you well enough.
I'm glad you guys recommended me to them. I'm definitely going to listen to them like while I'm at work driving around and stuff. It just like, I don't know. It doesn't matter really what they're talking about. It's just comforting, I guess. Their
Yeah,
voices
it's
are
noise. It's,
Yeah.
really laxed.
it's two
They,
dudes talking to each other.
Just chilling.
And-
And their topics, especially Brady, he always like just listening to them. I just start smiling with this dumb grin on my
Yeah.
face every time I listen to them.
Like Brady.
Brady, I love him. Then their contrast works so well.
It does. It really does.
Brady is a caveman, and
Yeah. And then CGP, like when he talks, it doesn't matter if what he's saying is making sense or not. I take it in as, oh, this guy's a genius. Like he's like a professor. And like
Like,
no
his
matter what he's
voice.
talking about, I'm just like in my head agreeing with him. Like, yeah, this guy's right. And then the next episode he literally says, yeah, I was wrong. Like,
Yeah. The more you listen to them, the more you realize that CGP Grey, like, he sounds like a genius. And he is a pretty smart guy, but he also isn't, perfect.
yeah.
look at what I put in Discord.
Hang on, let me bring that up.
And you put this. You put that in the podcast, please.
Okay, that'll be the first podcast picture. We just have that the entire
Okay.
time. Just that, nothing else.
How high were you?
Not at all.
What?
So they were going on about copyright, and they were saying basically, like, with Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, a pro about copyright is the fact that, like, someone can't just come along and steal the idea, like, change, like, one of the characters or, like, do a spin-off of it. You're not allowed to do that whatsoever until a X amount of time after the creator of the thing passed away. Most of the stuff they were talking about, I didn't even know how that works. Like, with YouTube, people just steal stuff off each other because it's not...
I mean, technically, it's not stealing if it's within fair use, but that's the problem with fair use. It's such a broad thing.
Yeah.
Like, well, problem and also good thing, because so much good shit comes from that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if someone can take the content and make something new with a spin-off of a character someone else created, why not? Is what I say.
So you like the idea of doing that?
If I wrote a story, if I wrote a character,
Mhm.
right, and I was making a bunch of money on it, and someone else took that character and put them in a different environment and like spun something off, and even if it was against the canon of the character, I would have absolutely no problem with it. Even if technically it's drawing attention away from me and
Yeah.
giving me money directly, I would have no problem with it, because more that the what inspiration did I get to make my character? I probably got inspired by other people's works. You know what I mean? No one is completely original. Everyone takes something from someone else.
Yeah, that's something that I'm hearing a lot pop up on like my YouTubers stuff, the guys that I follow, in general. Something that I thought was kind of interesting is sometimes when people do that and they do a spinoff, it gives the original more popularity, and because of that, the original wants people to do spin-offs of it. And I know this is kind of not the exact same thing, but an example is reaction videos on YouTube, where you make a video and then someone that's more popular reacts to it, and they literally are stealing your content. They're putting your video on their video and then reacting to it, but it's promoting your content at the same time. So people are like, yeah, please do a reaction video on it.
Yeah, it is the laziest form, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, for a good example is right now you're kind of stealing CGP Grey, the Hello Internet.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Should we be copyrighted? You know, that's
Oh.
we're just taking the topics that they spoke about, and you're like, hey, how about this? And
Yeah.
that's
But so over
I don't see a problem with it.
so like that was what my mindset is that anytime you're doing something like that, it's kind of the lazy way out of making content in general. But a little bit of it could be healthy, right? But if you live in a world where everything is a reaction video, if everything was a basically stealing from someone else, or I guess I don't know if stealing is the right word, but you know what I mean. Then it's not good. Then it's unhealthy, right?
I mean, the thing is, like, as long as you're not contributing to it, then it's not a problem, in my opinion. You know, if you think that that's a problem.
What do you mean by
that
contributing to it?
people-
If you're the one that
like,
does the
okay, so-
spinoff?
Well, if you're making it, then you're contributing to it. If you're watching it, you're contributing to it. If you're not part of it at all, that's a problem, in my opinion. Like, it can't overtake everything else, because there's always gonna be a large community of people who don't like that content. So it's okay that it's there, right?
I'm confused what your stance is, though, because you said that you were for spinoffs.
Yeah, I'm okay with people doing reviews of other people's work.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you know what I mean? Just reacting to the videos. I don't like those kinds of videos personally, but I consider them original works because they're contributing something new. Whether it just be their face going, or actually giving it, commentary. Because I watch a lot of commentary stuff as well. And if people couldn't react to other people's content, then half of the stuff I watch on YouTube would be pointless. I mean, I wouldn't be able to watch it.
So do you agree that it is good it is good in small increments?
Yeah,
is that what you'd say?
It's good if there's okay. So if a personality is doing it and they're actually adding some personality to it, making you laugh because it's them, not because of the original person's stuff, you know what I mean? That kind of crap, then it's great. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I really have no problem if no one adds anything to it. I get a little peeved off when I see someone just making a gasping face at something like I was saying.
Yeah.
But I still think that's still fair use. You're still adding something to it. And if someone dumb enough wants to sit there and watch you do that, then good on you for getting that crowd to follow you. But I mean, those people need someone to watch too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they prefer to watch someone else react to something like a canned, like a stale thing, fine.
Like when I watch Asmongold do reaction videos, he usually would do a reaction video on like a 5-minute video, and it'll end up being a 25-minute reaction, and that's good. That's good because that means he pauses the video and then he really explains, like he goes into stories and different stuff. He's not copying the content. He's using the content to create content, and it usually ends up promoting the original content. So the person that's doing it is like, yes, please do this, because he's got a larger audience than the original content creator has, so overall, it's a good thing. For some reason, on my feed, in general, I keep seeing things on just like reused content, whether it's okay or whether it's not okay, or whether it's a good thing or whether it's a bad thing. I just wanted to know your guys' take on it.
I've been sitting here struggling to put thoughts together.
It's okay. I have more to say about it if you need time.
No, I have a feeling like I won't actually figure anything out about it because it's such a very subjective thing.
It is.
And like the only terms I can think about it is like in terms of like inventions and stuff in the real world. So like I see it as hey, yeah, it, as long as it is an improvement of the previous idea, then that is okay. Improvement could be, obviously bad at the same time. Was
Maybe
it?
alteration be a better word, maybe.
I think intention is a really big part of it too. Like, are your intentions to steal the content, or are your intentions to either promote the content or branch things off of it? Because like if someone CGP literally said that people would take his video and just copy and paste the same video on their own channel,
Yeah,
like
that's
the
not okay.
intentions to that are not. That's not okay at all.
That's just straight up taking the money, and people don't know. They'll see that it's CGB Grey or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll just put it on their they'll take it and put it on their site, and then take all the ad revenue for it because the ad revenue is going to their website, and people don't know when they're looking at that site that goes to him or not. And yeah, a lot of people might end up becoming fans of CGP Grey, looking him up on YouTube or something, which in a sense is a benefit, but it's half of the benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the thing that they were even talking about is like bigger organizations, like news organizations.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That, make.
That's thousands of views gone.
Yeah, he said the news organizations were the worst part of this because they would always make up these little stories saying, "Oh no, sorry, that was just a mix-up. I didn't mean to do that." Where they would take their video, and it's like the main premise of the video, and they would put it on their own site. And once CGP would contact them, like, "Hey, if you're gonna put my video in there, at least put my YouTube link to point people to my site, not your site." And they're like, "Oh, we meant to do that. It was just a mix-up." And they always wait until like the peak amount of traffic is done going through before they fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how news. And apparently, Brady, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
He used to work with those companies.
What's the joke?
What's that?
They misspelled his name at one point. They called him like Bradley or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm excited to continue their podcast. That was definitely a good recommendation.
Yeah, and what was it? So there is another part that I've been thinking about here too, because copyright has been kind of popping up occasionally for me at work. I'm reading a lot into. I think I mentioned this before. I'm reading a lot into human-centered design and user experience design. Technically, just user experience, which is basically designing software in a way that humans use it very naturally. In a way that it doesn't really frustrate you when you use it. So when you do such a thing, there are certain like standards or something that you follow. So you tend to mimic a lot of what other corporations have done successfully.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I'm like, that's stealing their ideas. But at the same time, you don't want to design shitty software because, then people aren't going to use it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And like
just similar, like you're just looking for like you're talking about design, like intuitive design for like interfaces and stuff like that.
Yeah. Let me think. I believe there was like a lawsuit a while ago where, you know how when you, for instance, if you're on the Reddit app, I don't know if you use Reddit, Tim. Steve,
Not
I think
often.
you use the app, right?
I don't use it.
Occasionally.
So when you, actually you do it on messages too. If you scroll down, if you're at the very top of the list or very bottom, if you scroll up or down, it then pulls the list up or down a little bit, and then it gives you a little loading circle, and then you know that the page is loading and that it will update with new content, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a very natural way of designing a refresh feature.
Yeah.
However, such a thing is, I believe it was copyrighted at some point, and it seems very natural, seems very like appropriate to put it there, and you would like to put it there because you like that feature, and it definitely makes your product more usable, but it is still someone else's idea. And part of like usability to design is that once people understand how to use something, it's best to continue with that trend, because otherwise it's just going to be like you're just going to make it impossible to use pretty much.
You want it to be
people are so used to one way of using it.
You want it to be user friendly, so you want them to
Yeah.
be familiar with what it is, and that's where copyright gets so like
Frustrating.
yeah. There's like it's not black and white
The hindrance of
at
progress
all.
as well.
And it's funny because when I was getting into YouTube, when I was first researching everything with what I can use and what I can't use, there was no straight up answer to anything. Like the things that you kind of can use, they're like, yes, you should be fine with using this keyword should, and I'm like 99% sure you won't get in trouble, but tomorrow they could change the rules and you could get in trouble. And it's just like, I don't know, copyright is such a weird thing. And I before a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I've always kind of ignored. I've never created any projects or anything where I needed to worry about copyright, so I've never researched copyright. Like I knew like nothing about like the specifics or anything of it. And I guess that's why everything's popping up my feed about it. But I feel like even the YouTubers that I've been watching for years, they're talking about it now. And I don't want to keep referring back to CGP, but like that video was probably one of the best videos that explained it. And one of their questions they asked was, would you rather live in a world that had no copyright or all copyright? Like if you had to have one extreme or the other.
Oh yeah, another thing that just popped into my mind real quick before I answer that question, because I probably need more time than I'm probably just stalling right now.
Yeah.
What was it? I remember at one point, because code became so common, like people kept reusing ideas and stuff because they're good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? I believe some court, I think in Delaware, actually declared it like code is copyrightable. So it matters how you write the code, not the idea of the code. It's a lot less like a patent and more like how you write a story, which is I found very interesting. I didn't stall for enough time.
Well, I agreed with them. They said that they would rather have all free copyright.
Copyrightless.
Yeah,
No
copyrightless.
Really?
Yeah.
I forgot they said that.
Mm-hmm.
I forget why they said that.
There's more creativity that's allowed if you can go off of each other's ideas and things like that. If everything was 100% copyright, then once an idea is out there, you can never ever use it.
Yeah.
If it was on that extreme.
Who could imagine a world where every single app has a different way of refreshing the fucking lists?
Yeah, every app would have a different way of refreshing. Every like everything would be owned by like one company. Like once you create a computer, there's no other companies that can make a computer, right? Am I right? Or am I thinking incorrectly about that?
Yeah, there's actually one company who owned the patent for digital message interfacing or something like that,
mm-hmm.
and like they kept fucking suing everybody. Just because they claimed a patent like 80 years ago or something.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
I just think that the idea, the definition of copyright should just be changed, not gotten rid of. Like, if it was the current way, I mean, the current way is fine, but if anything gets in the way of progress, like as a whole, like if a large number of people need to use a specific thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like Tyler says, like a simple thing like the loading thing, loading whatever. That's something that should just be I like a common.
When it comes to technology,
that's a small piece of a large puzzle. But I guess that causes a lot of complications. Then if you decide to like pick apart like stuff like that, because you could go through. Then at that point, you're basically having no copyright because people would just say, "Well, I need this small piece."
When it comes to technology, though, like branching off ideas is key. Like in order to get the next step in technology, once someone like makes a breakthrough, it opens up all of these areas for other people. But if they're not allowed to break off of that person, they're still stuck. Like even when the computers came out, that was a bunch of different ideas, taking ideas from like the mouse wasn't even made by the people that got the credit for the mouse. You know what I mean? And I guess it sucks for the original person that comes up with the idea for not getting 100% credit or all the money. But I think it's good for the greater good of technology, right? To move forward.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
No, that sounds a little communist right there.
And now that I think about it, I think the technology ones are actually a little bit more relaxed than the creative ones.
Yeah,
where,
they are. They are. Because if it wasn't, then we would still be stuck with like lesser technologies in general.
So, no, it's mine for the next 70 years, and no one else can think what I think. Or has to buy it from me.
So
I think it's enough for you to profit off of it, and then after so many years, and I think it's still within the creator's lifespan, it opens up to the greater market. Was it? Yeah, I would prefer the world with no copyright at all.
No copyright at all? Yeah.
Why is that?
Yep. But
Why is that?
just the freedom of it allows for quicker innovation. The copyright version is more of I want to say a business financial world, in which people are just trying to earn as much money as possible.
Exactly.
And, fuck those people.
But at the same time, you should get paid for what you're like. You should get credit for what you've invented.
Well,
but I agree with you. I agree with you overall.
Yeah.
I actually would say if nothing would change about copyrights, I would say keeping the copyrights, because in a sense it drives people to be like, all right, if you're working for something, right, and you're working to develop something, right, you're not thinking and especially in America, you're not thinking for the greater good. You're thinking for the greater, my wallet is going to fill up. And if you're going to make something, what's the point, right? A lot of people think this way. What's the point if someone else can just take what I'm doing?
And that's exactly why larger projects, like if copyright didn't exist, larger projects wouldn't exist, like Star Wars.
Right.
Because they've invested so much money to create the world of Star Wars, they wouldn't have invested it if the next guy could just steal it.
Yeah. And it's like, so in a sense, like it's capitalism. It drives people to be like, this is mine and I'm going to sell it. And that's good because it makes people want to make things.
Yeah.
That's good.
Competition. However, the counter to that, so technically it's not really the individual people who tend to get a lot of money or something for what they've created. It tends to be the greater company that gets what they've created. Like I said, the guy who invented the fucking refreshing a list, no one knows. I don't know his name. I'm pretty sure most people don't know his name.
And no one ever should.
Yeah. The company who invented it gets to keep that idea and gets to keep a lot of the money from it. That guy just got paid,
Well, that's his fault for being part of that contract.
Yeah, but...
yeah,
he got the advantage of being part of that contract with the resources, and then he made something, and now he doesn't get to have the title because he didn't want to make it on his own. But he couldn't without the resources, so therefore the company gets it. It's just like, to me, that makes sense.
There's no perfect answer. There's no perfect...
In a perfect world, he'd get some large amount of credit because he's the guy who did it.
Yeah.
But also, it's a thing that no one gives a shit about either. That's the other problem.
I give a shit.
I mean, like the lady who made
that guy's Monopoly. My fucking hero.
every time that loading screen or that loading little thing spins, Tyler just gets like
he thinks about
hard.
That guy.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know his name. We all need to get a badge.
I have a little shrine in my closet with like a bunch of picture frames that just have a question mark in them. I don't know who it is, but I fucking worship him.
But so I wanted to move on. Yeah. The reason that I asked you guys that is because something that's been bothering me really bad. So we're talking about stealing someone else's content to reuse it, right? How do you guys feel about the same company reusing their own content over and over and over and over again instead of coming up with new ideas? And I'm not talking about new IPs. Using the same IP and making a bunch of games out of that, or movies or books or whatever, not a big deal. How do you guys feel? The thing that's been bothering me really bad is, for example, as a kid growing up, Blizzard was this huge company that I couldn't even begin to dream about what they could be like in 10 to 15 years. Coming out with World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, these huge games, right? These huge games when I was a kid. And it's like, oh man, huge, ever-expanding worlds and storylines and all this stuff. So popular, so successful. I can't even imagine 10 years, 15 years from now, where they're going to be. Here we are in 2020. Classic WoW just came out. Warcraft 3 just came out. I think they're working on StarCraft remastered, and they're working on Diablo 2 remastered. How, like, does that bother you guys at all, that instead of moving forward and coming out with new games, they're just redoing what made them successful 10 to 15 years ago?
Well, they did come out with Overwatch and a few other
Overwatch
games.
was... Do you know how Overwatch was created?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a failed new MMO.
It was a scrapped project, yeah. It was an MMO that failed.
Oh, really?
Yep. What they did was they took teams that were going to get fired and they put them together, and they were like, "This is your last chance. Make whatever you want out of these assets." And they used the assets of the MMO to create the Overwatch characters. They launched whatever game they could come up with the fastest with the whatever they had to release it as soon as possible, and Overwatch was born.
So they just like drove them out to the desert, you know, and
Yeah.
said, we're going to stop giving you supplies and drive off with the only bus you have to leave if you can't make a game.
give or
Well,
take.
The intent was still that they were trying to make a new IP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did try to
I
make a new IP.
Can't really fault them for that.
They did a good job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't play Overwatch, but I think it's a pretty good game.
it's funny because if you look into Blizzard, if you like, I've been listening to a lot of interviews and stuff like that. Like when Classic WoW was coming out, a lot of my YouTubers were going over to it, and they were interviewing the people the developers that made the game in the first place, and all of the good things about the game that kids and now adults like. They're like, oh my god, it was such a genius idea. Like they did this, and they just laid it out so perfectly. It was an accident. When they talk to the developer, they find out, oh, we didn't actually mean to do it that way.
That makes them so much more special.
That's still like that is a lot
mean,
how a lot of things are created though. It's like, oh, I didn't mean to do it that way, but it happened.
I just think
way,
it's
so.
great that Blizzard is just like a whole bunch of accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Fortnite? Same thing. It was
Yeah.
not intended to be a battle royale.
Yep.
And we discover a lot of things by accident. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of technologies are discovered by accident.
To be honest, I'm surprised you asked the question in what seems like almost like a skeptical or even negative light. Like you're a very nostalgia driven person, Tim. And
Bitch.
I you little,
Sorry.
And I have an answer. I have an answer to
little
why.
nostalgia nugget.
I have an answer to why it's negative. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm not assuming what you're thinking. I'm just surprised you even asked the question because I think you would have a big nostalgia moment for it. You'd be like, hell yeah, all the games that I love from growing up are coming back with either graphical remixes or even content updates or just complete overhauls to the game. You know, and to me, like I don't know, I stick to a core set of games and stuff like that even now. Anytime something like that happens, whether it be a DLC drop or a mod or someone just coming out with a game that is from my childhood, I'm all over it. I feel like I don't know, it not only makes me happy that other people are going to be able to experience it that are from a new generation, that like a lot of people don't want to play old games, right? They want to play something that looks fresh.
Yeah.
But now other people are going to be able to come into that universe and be like, oh, this is why they love it. This is
like
why
the MCC.
this is
the new
why
Halo.
my dad or my older brother is just like Warhammer or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the new Halo they just released, the MCC, is a perfect
New.
example of that. Well, the new isn't it new?
It's new for PC. Xbox has had it for forever. It's been
Oh.
like
Oh yeah. Well, that's the biggest
Well,
advancement of it.
Upping the
It's like
graphics and everything.
Spreading it
It's
to other consoles.
with the graphics being upgraded and everything. New generations are able to get in and experience what you've experienced, and I do like that. I do enjoy that. I love the fact that I'm playing Halo with Josh, and he's able to
Yeah.
enjoy it because the graphics don't look like absolute crap. I do like that. And if they remade Puzzle Pirates, I'm sure Tyler would be very happy. If they remade Rome Total War, I'm sure Steve would be happy. If they remade Rohan
did.
Blood Feud, I would be
did.
happy. However, the reason that I have a negative light on it is because what I was saying is when I was a kid, I had all these dreams and like unlimited possibilities of like I can't even imagine what things are going to be like 15 years in the future. If you told me back then, oh, you're going to be playing the exact same game that you're playing right now but with better graphics, I'd be like, oh.
But
And it just shoots me down. It just like if if the reason that the companies are doing it is because it's a safe way. It's a safe way of knowing that, okay, this was successful before. The nostalgia factor is going to boost your popularity, and we're definitely going to make a profit out of it, right? Do you agree with that? That's a really good. That's why businesses are doing it.
Yeah, it's sorry, my phone is like going
No, it's
mad.
fine.
Yeah, it's a safe way of making money. I
Yeah.
believe the fault of that is just what was it? That you're taking a big company and people who pretty much need to make money at this point. They can't really take risks because they have a bunch of people under them that they gotta pay.
Yeah.
You're seeing a big company and you're like, wow, I wish they would try something new like they did before. When that is hard in this environment.
Yeah.
However, if you so when you brought this up, I immediately was skeptic because of all the fucking games that I've played over the past few years have all been like new ideas and stuff like that. So I ran. Should I bring this up now? So I ran the web crawler earlier today.
What's
I
that?
built a web crawler. What's a web crawler?
Yeah. What's a web crawler? I guess I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so it's kind of like a
He just crawls around your keyboard. He's like, ah.
yeah, and whatever buttons he press, that's the figures that I come up with.
Yeah, every time he starts slowing down, I give him a good spanking, and he keeps going.
Is it that?
Yeah, so
is it that thing that we have as our podcast picture on this video on episode 1?
What Steve is?
Yeah, that Steve Goblin. Is that a
no,
web crawler?
I wouldn't call that a goblin.
Don't tell people that's my face.
Yeah. It's got some strong cheekbones.
People might be able to recognize me through that.
Someone tracks you down through that picture. I would be very impressed.
Just like, hey, do a squat and flex. Like, it's you.
No, what really is a web crawler?
Okay, so it's kind of like a search engine, but it basically goes to a bunch of different web pages, and it picks out information that I need. So basically, what I had this web crawler do is I went to Wikipedia, I looked up the master list of all video games in existence, which was then bullshittedly coursed out into every single freaking console or what was it? Console or platform that they could be on. And then from there, they had a sub list which listed every video game. And then you could actually click on the link from there and then go to the pages. You can go to that page for that video game. Unfortunately, like with how incredible Wikipedia looks, consistency-wise, like it looks very consistent from page to page, it is actually not. There's a lot of empty paragraphs just sitting around and stuff like that, so they fuck up my web search. So basically, I had the web crawler go around, and I collected the game and the release date from each of the lists for every game that I could. I could only get so many console games or games from different platforms because, like I said, it's very inconsistent, so I couldn't have the web crawler go to every single one because it's different on every one, which is dumb. So I made it go through. I made it pick out all the games from the list, and then if it had a link, I had the web crawler go to that link and then search the first 4 paragraphs of the Wikipedia page, and if it mentioned the word remake in there anywhere or remastered, I chalked it up as a remaked or remastered game.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Would it be easier just to Google remakes of video games?
You could, but then you'd have to manually count them all up, and this sounds complicated. And
it's actually not as complicated as it sounds. Is that correct?
All right, well then.
Is that correct? It's not as complicated.
He's explaining it step by step. No, keep going, Tyler.
Okay.
What?
No more. Keep.
No, that's about the end of it, and then I collected all the values. And
so what was your result?
Let's see. I like people guessing.
Like you look like you were looking this up because you were curious Because you said you've
Yeah.
been playing. You opened this up with you saying that you've been playing nothing but newer games. So you're wondering
Yeah.
why I was complaining about all these remakes coming out. So did your result like make you realize how many remakes are actually coming out?
No,
No, it
not
wasn't
at
a long
all.
list.
Okay, so I'll give you a year, right? All right, 2018, right?
Okay.
1,174 games came out
Okay.
according to my list. There could be more, could be less. It's not perfect, but it's a rough estimate. How many of those games do you think were tagged as remakes?
2018 wasn't a year that this was bothering me. This is only bothering me as of this year. And I guess it started at the end of 2019, but this year, and then the rest of them are the rest of the games that keep popping up aren't even out yet. It's games they're working on remastering: Diablo 2, StarCraft 3, Perfect
Age of
World,
Empires.
RuneScape, Lineage 2, Age of Empires. There's a bunch of games that like Lineage 2 that surprised me. I was hoping that they would come out with a new Lineage at some point, and they came out with a mobile game that was crap because it's a mobile game and it's just autoplay and all that. And then I'm finally get some new information about new Lineage game, and it's just remaking Lineage 2. And while you think like Steve was saying, like, why aren't you excited for that? Because I was hoping for Lineage 3. Like, I would rather them make a new game with the new technology and the same
isn't it-
IP
But they
than
always.
I don't want to go into the game and know everything about it. Like, if you remake a game, you don't have to learn. It's not exploring anything. You have all the information. You have a full wiki for yourself. You have everything right there in front of you. Like, that was the problem with Classic WoW coming out. On day one, everybody had a guide to every single thing in the game. There was nothing to explore because it was a remake of a popular game. And I guess my main concern is I feel like it's hurting creativity. I feel like it's the easy way out of making a new video game for a company.
So I'll just give you my figures real quick because I worked really hard on this. Fuck you.
Okay, I'll just listen then, even though I have things to say.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So the percentage of remakes by year hovers pretty much around the same area. There's about 8 to 10, I'd say, remakes a year.
But that doesn't include any of the future, because I'm talking about 2020 to 2023 is where all
So,
these remakes are coming.
2020, apparently there's only 10 coming out of 641 that have already been released. 2019, there were 11 remakes out of 1,400 games made. Let me see. I did not go into the future too much because those lists are pretty incomplete on those numbers.
I just think it's funny because every time
Can you give me the list of what is coming out this year, remake wise, and what has already come out?
Are you talking to
year?
me?
Yeah.
This web crawler was pretty anonymous.
It just said it said they exist, but didn't say what they were.
Yeah, it says they exist. It
Shit.
doesn't say what they were.
I guess I could Google it. Hold on.
I just thought it was
Yeah, you have
funny
to go.
because when this started to bother me, when I started to realize how many remakes were coming out, I couldn't open up Facebook and I couldn't open up YouTube without the very first video or the very first post being in a game that I knew about of being in my child, like Warriors, which is a PS2 game I played where you're like in a street gang. It wasn't even huge. That just popped up today.
What the fuck is Warriors?
Warriors. We played it. Me and you played it together. It was a small
I don't
game.
remember.
We played it on the. I think it was on the PS2 or it was on the
Explain
original
the game
Xbox.
to me.
It was. I don't remember a lot about it except you were like in a street gang and you just go up to the enemies and you start punching them to death.
Sounds like
If I showed you I'll show you a picture of it, and if you see the cover, you would know what I'm talking about. And then I started to complain to Kelsey about it, about like, what's your take on this? And I asked her the same question I asked you guys, and then she opened up Facebook, and you know what popped up? Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 Remastered. First thing.
Huh.
And I'm just like, I can't get away from it. Maybe it's just Google trying to torture me. I don't know.
Maybe it is because I haven't seen anything about this. Maybe because you are a nostalgia-driven person.
Yes, I am.
As they said. it probably figured out that you actually somewhat care about those games for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be trying to advertise that kind of stuff to you. I often get advertisements for games that I've never heard of before. Not remastered, just games that are out there.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When your definition of remake, is it like just the same game remade without any additional content? Is that strictly a definition, or can a remake have changed content or updated stuff, or basically to be the same kind of game but new with like for example, fucking what's it called, Animal Crossing or whatever, right?
So Animal Crossing does not count. Pokemon does not count because Pokemon
Okay.
Animal Crossing it's a new iteration, same IP, new game with new stuff.
Would you consider Doom Eternal a remake?
I haven't played it and I haven't watched anything about it, so
Okay.
I'll answer that question with examples. I'll name just a few examples.
Okay.
Classic WoW, Final Fantasy VII. If they do Diablo 2, the Halo series they came out with apparently a while ago on the Xbox, but new on PC. Those like same game, new graphics, maybe some add-ons of some kind at the end or little Easter eggs that are new or something like that. But 95% of the game is the exact same thing, but new graphics.
Okay. Can I like throw some out there for a second?
Yeah.
I have no problem with those. I just
Mhm.
want to say that first. And the reason is those games were popular for a reason.
Mhm.
People loved them at the time, right?
Mhm.
And they move on to new games because, well, they want new content. And they take a break and then they go back when something comes out that has an updated, even just if it's just graphical, right? Like I guess I could use Age of Empires as an example. Well, I guess they did change the AI, but besides the AI, it's just a graphical change to all the new Age of Empires games. Well, Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3. Um, if you don't count the AI changes, it's the same game. I've been watching tournaments and stuff like that for people playing it for quite a long time. Since I stopped playing the game, I've been watching people play on YouTube, and people still play Age of Empires 2 competitively, and it's interesting to watch. And I am super hyped to see the game just look different. There's no AI on multiplayer competitive stuff, so to my knowledge, there's no changes to the actual gameplay. It'll just be a graphical change, but I'm like super hyped, and it's bringing new people into the community and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly acceptable, especially when a company is considering bringing out a new title. It brings people in because people are like, why are people nostalgic for this, right?
Yeah.
And then they see it and it looks cool because they changed the thing to it, and it's also like it's honoring your diehard fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're giving something to your fans that they've been wanting for a long time. They've been sticking with this game for fucking years, and they should have had forever ago. And the company doesn't necessarily make a shit ton of money off of it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd actually like to find the facts on that.
Yeah. No.
But
I believe it or not, I do agree that remakes are like the pros definitely are good, like how it brings new people into it, and whatnot. And I do like, while I'm complaining about this, if they make a remake for one of my childhood games, I'm going to play it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. Like but the reason that I'm bringing this up and the reason that it's bothering me is because I caught myself. Have you ever been doing something and then you just like looked at yourself in third person, like you like zoomed out and you looked over your body to what you're doing, and you're like, what am I doing right now?
That's
You know what I'm
called
talking about, right?
being high, Tim.
There you go. I was being high while
am I
playing
dead?
classic WoW, right? I was being high while playing classic WoW in 2020. And I just thought back to myself when I was playing that game when I was in 7th grade with my friend James. And I was like, I'm doing the exact same thing I was doing how many years ago? Like, I just caught myself in the moment, and I realized that. And then when I went to go look at games to look forward to play next, oh, but don't worry, this game will come out next. It's another remaster game. And it's just like, I don't want to live in a cycle of remasters. I know that's over-exaggerating because there are new games coming out. But could you imagine?
14,000 games or 1,400 games.
But I just feel like the remastered games are coming out a lot more frequently, and it just worries me to see all of the companies that I followed as a kid, instead of moving forward, if they all did this. Like if there was an extreme where every company that you knew as a kid just continued to do this, that would be worrisome, right?
I don't think so, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I really think it's more for the fans that have been sticking with them since the game, the original popular version of the game came out.
Okay.
It's more for them than the new fans, even.
I know I have an unpopular opinion on this, and a lot of like
okay.
if people do watch this video, it's just gonna be like that Tim guy is really dumb.
No,
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
I agree with you, actually.
I would be very surprised if a single person agrees with me because I haven't found someone that does yet.
I used to agree with you.
Okay.
But then I sat down and I played a remake, like Age of Empires, for example, and it brought back that same joy. You know what I mean? And yes, I was doing the same thing I was doing when I was a kid. Yes, there was no progress being made in my life, but the just the pure like dopamine rush I got from playing the game, it just felt so good. I'm like, this is the point of playing games. I don't play games as often as I used to, but going back and reliving something that has been enhanced, that has made like almost like, here you go. We didn't have to make this, but we decided to. We could have made something new.
As long as
we decided to remake what you love and make it a little bit better. Here you go.
Unless they end up ruining it like they did with the Warcraft 3 fans, I feel bad for those guys. Could you imagine your childhood game being remastered and then just being full of bugs and then being an internet meme? That would be horrible.
In a sense, that brings joy in itself. Being a meme is a different type of thing entirely.
If Age of Empires Gold Edition came out today, 2020 edition, and it was just a huge internet meme with how buggy and crappy it was, you would be okay with that?
Yeah.
They would fix it eventually, and you've been playing it for this long. Why not wait a few years to play it more?
Right.
I would just say, Tim, to fix your problem, just find new studios to follow. I mean, like me and Steve play a lot of Paradox games, and like they weren't big when we were younger, but like we fucking love their games now, and they tend to come out with new shit all the time.
I mean, if they were big, we just had no idea because we were too too smooth brained.
Yeah, you need a lot of brains to play those games.
The three games,
IQ 2000.
The three games I'm actually looking forward to right now are all new companies, which they're all MMOs. I've been playing League for the last 10 years, and I miss the day before I started playing League of Legends 10 years ago. I was playing Rohan. I went from Rohan to League. And
yes, we know this, Tim.
League is such
you don't
a
need
toxic.
to tell us.
League is such a toxic game. Yeah. League is such a toxic game, and it's made my gaming life so horrible that I want to go back to the MMO, but I don't like any of the modern MMOs right now. So the games I'm looking forward to, that I'm hoping would be good, are all fresh new studios. All of them are fresh, and like you said, look for new studios. I am looking for new studios. Hopefully they're good. Hopefully it ends up being like the new game I can spend the next 10 years on. But if 10 years from now we have a podcast and we're talking about a remake of a remake, I swear I am going to be so mad.
I'm pretty sure there are already remakes of remakes. A lot of Nintendo games like to do that.
You know what I mean? I'm saying like I don't want the entire gaming industry to become remakes. That is what I'm talking about.
People are too quick to complain, and if it's a popular opinion that like if that spreads like a virus, because people are just like, I don't like this for no good reason, and then everyone's like, like either, and then
like battle royales. I never liked battle royales, but for some reason the internet loved them, and everywhere I looked, all the games that I played were becoming battle royales. Black Desert Online created a battle royale. Like every game is like, oh, we're gonna make a battle royale, and they're still being pumped out to this day, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
But they've changed, and people who like that genre, like it's just like any genre, like FPSs. So every time a new Call of Duty came out or a Battlefield came out, was the same thing. Like, no, it was the same idea, just done a different way. And battle royales is just a new genre. What's wrong with that? Yeah, just because we were born in an era where they didn't exist, and they became super popular, and then like we haven't really played them, doesn't mean they're bad. Like people who might not even like battle royales, like specific ones. Like I think a lot of people like the new Call of Duty one that came out recently.
Yeah.
It's
The
done. It's just
Blackout
done well,
Yeah.
but it's done differently. Like if you compare other battle royales to it, they're almost completely different games. Yes, they're the same genre, but they're not the same thing.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
I think you're making me realize the reason that I have any negative light on this, and it's just because nobody's making a game that I want to play right now.
Well, then just make your own damn game, Tim.
You just kind of want to play your. You want to play the games that you played as a kid.
You know what I was playing the other day? I reinstalled Rohan. I brought up Killzone, the Deacon that me and Steve were supposed to get to level 50 together, so that we got boosted to 70 on that one leveling event. We got to level 48, and then he was like, I don't feel like getting on this weekend. We do it next weekend. And then I was like, okay, I'll wait for Steve. I don't want to go without him because he always complains that I level up without him. So I'll wait for him. Next weekend, he's like, I don't feel like it. You do it without me. And I'm like, really? So I get on, and every single spot is full, and I couldn't get into any parties, and I had to slowly watch the ticker go down to the event ending when I'm level 48 and a half. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve.
Hey,
so I
finished... Hey, there were like 5 other people involved in that. You can't blame that all on
So
me.
I logged on.
You know what?
I logged on to a game made in 2006 or something, and I finished leveling that Deacon up. Thank you very much.
That game sucks.
So Tim, even though you are noticing this more recently, there is no trend towards more remakes. There are as many remakes last year as there were in 2000, actually.
Okay, I hope that is correct. If it's not a trend, it'll ease my worries.
No, it is not a trend.
I think that you kind of have a more of a like the fact that you've kind of detached from League recently. You had your divorce with it.
I did.
The fact that it's basically you were playing the same game for years that just changed slightly over time. So you played hundreds of remakes in a sense. You know what I mean? So you broke up with League of Legends finally. I was there to witness it. It was beautiful. And you learn to, when you do play, to actually have fun, which is why I still like the game, by the way. Which is,
So I like.
I do enjoy the game if we're just having fun. I would be so happy if the 3 of us got back on that game and played it together and just screwed around.
Anytime you want. I like playing.
Let's do it after this podcast. Let's do one game together after this podcast.
Sure.
Drop
your shit. That'll be fun.
I don't have it installed anymore, but see if I can start
installing it now. Yeah. I love the game. I hate the community. It is my final conclusion to that game. And every time I try to get on by myself, when I want to just have fun, like Steve, you told me, you were like, you can hit platinum. You just have to enjoy yourself.
Definitely.
Play with your fun.
You could go past diamond. You could.
Well, every time I get on and I lock in Shaco support, you know how much hate I get before I even get into the game? People quit on purpose. Like they get into the game and then they feed on purpose because they have a Shaco support on their game. Even though there's a Shaco support player that's challenger right now. Like it's actually good. It can work and it's fun and I like doing it. But immediately, like I wanted to do a video of just all of the responses because every game without fail, as soon as I highlight Shaco, it's just like, your support, right? And it's like, you're not really going to actually pick that. And then as soon as I lock it in, it's just hate. And it's like racism and like all these terrible things just because I want to play something that I enjoy playing. And if you looked it up, if you look at my stats, my ranked history on Shaco support is 75% win rate. That is good. And I tell them, look it up, op.dg, look up my thing. And they do, and they're like, I don't care, it's troll.
Well, they're memeing in a sense, like that's how the community works, and like you're gonna get that hate whether you play a meta champion or not. At some point, it's gonna happen.
If you take the Final Fantasy 14 online community and you put it into League of Legends, I would be happy again.
Like I have never played a League of Legends game by myself in my entire life. Of how many years have I been playing League?
Yeah, I know.
And the thing is, I have never I don't look at unless I'm trying to like trigger someone or jokingly trying to be jokingly positive or something like that. I don't look at the chat, and if I do, I might look at it and laugh because I know that person is some little animal in his little hovel in his little shit bucket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
screaming for his mom.
Or that picture that you drew.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, everyone's just that. Everyone's just whatever image you're using as the thumbnail for this fucking this podcast.
I have learned so many life lessons from League in general over these years, and I can
Teamwork.
play that game to this day. I'm finally able to play that game full of toxic people and still just enjoy myself and have a good time. It took me so long to be able to do that. It took me
It's just
so
game.
long.
Why you get so mad?
Don't ever say it's just a game.
It is though, and it's like if it really bothers you, like I've never had to mute any really been muted. Occasionally I've had to mute people, really. But if it really affects you, like for some reason it's always been funny to me how
bad it
you've
affects me.
always been so you didn't give two shits if we shat on you. Like if we were
Yeah.
like, man, you suck dick, you'd be like, "Pfft, whatever, I'll show you," kind of shit. But if some rando shits on you, it's like it's as if your avatar grandfather has come to you and be like, you have dishonored your family, and you're like, I am sorry, grandfather, I will prove to you my strength, and he just keeps shitting on you.
That is exactly how I feel. I should just say exactly that every single time it happens to me too.
I am sorry, grandfather, I have dishonored the family, I will prove to you my strength every single time.
I don't know why it affects me so much, but for some reason it does. And the reason I don't have them muted is because when you're in Champion Select, you can't mute that screen. That's the screen that everyone's yelling at me. Once I'm in game, everyone's muted.
Your eyes can move away.
I can't do it.
Just look away. Don't look at that screen.
I do want to start recording.
Close your eyes and click a champion, and then go in and see what happens.
I do want to start recording all the reactions though, because it is kind of humorous that I can't get into even no matter how many wins I get, no matter how well I do, I can't get into a game without seeing that hate, and it's I kind of want to do like a highlight reel of all of those reactions I get in the beginning of the game, and then what it looks like at the end of the game. Because with Chakra support, 90% of the games I get most damage in the entire game. Because you're literally just putting traps down and you're hitting the entire enemy team at once. And I don't have the most kills because I'm not playing assassin, but I have the most damage, and it's.
Oh, I've watched you. You definitely.
It's fun.
Cause a lot of impact on the map.
Yeah.
And you're also enjoying yourself, which is the whole fucking point.
Yeah.
Like, it's a PvP game. You're having fun at other people's expense. You're also trying to win, and so you're doing everything right. You know what I mean? That's the formula.
Yeah, I just wish the community wasn't so garbage. Tyler, did I tell you
the PvP game, it's always going to be garbage if it's PvP.
Did I tell you what happened to me today? I logged on to Final Fantasy 14 again. I've never gotten to any good content in Final Fantasy 14. I'm still in the storyline process of it. But every now and then they throw you into like a raid boss or something, and you have to group up with like 4 people, like a small party, and you have to fight it. And they have like different mechanics and things like that. It's kind of introducing you to the raid content in the late game. And everyone is just so surprisingly nice. Like, it's like scary nice. Like, what did I do to deserve these compliments? And it's just, I wish that community was in other games. Like, we went into this boss that it was an earth elemental dude, and you're on top of this pillar, and you can get knocked off if you get hit by CC moves. And if you're knocked off, you die, and you're out of the fight for the rest of the fight. And you only have 4 of you. So if you lose one person, you're pretty much going to lose the fight. So we went into it the first time, and our tank got knocked off. And then we were screwed. We tried to finish him off. We got almost killed him, but we died. Second try, everyone's like, oh, it's okay. Good try, guys. You guys did good. We got it this time. We immediately get knocked off the map. Immediately, like 5 seconds in. And it's like, oh, don't worry. It's fine. We'll do it next time. Third time, we did absolute garbage again. And then the 4th time, we conquered. And everyone's like, yeah, good job, guys. I knew we could do it. And I'm just like, where is this positivity coming from? Like, this was an easy boss. It was relatively easy, and we sucked at it really badly. And nobody was pointing fingers or there was no toxicity whatsoever. And in general, Final Fantasy XIV is really well known for that positive community. And Steve was saying it was because it's a PvE game versus a PvP game. I guess that is true. But, like, I just wish more gaming communities were like that. That'd be great. That'd make me so happy.
And, I mean, PvP games also made you what you were today. You can deal with a lot more stress, like in your work environment, for example, because you know there's going to be people fucking constantly competing with you or saying stupid shit
When I was
or
working, when I was working,
for the sake of being difficult.
that is so true. When I was working at the call center, like I would have some jackass on the phone, and just like cursing at me, yada yada yada, this and that, and I'm just like, League of Legends has prepared me for this moment. I just handle it perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like can't piss me off. Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. The real life of situations are more impactful, but like taking any, like being able to amplify a lesson you've learned from a stupid video game into something useful is,
Yeah,
respectable. And I think that you and well, all of us have learned learned how to work better as a team and stuff like that.
and that is the moral of this podcast. No, I did want to end it because we're at an hour and 15 minutes. I wanted to make it an hour at the longest.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we need filler content. Plus, you can in 100 episodes or so, when we're definitely still doing this, we can like take tiny clips of like shit that happens before or after, like that burp, and we can make like a clip show of podcast clips.
I wish I didn't mute myself every time I fucking burped then. God damn. You could have edited that out and put it at the end.
Nah,
Excuse me.
that's going to be the transition sound now.
No.
Whenever we change topics.
No, not this time.
Josh and I love the fucking dying elite sounds.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be us, but I guess we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have enough sounds to make it work.
Yeah, I didn't have enough. It was too much.
God damn it.
There was too many background noises and different things going on. I wasn't able to get a clear audio of us dying, but I was able to get the Covenants dying, and it worked out pretty good.
That part was much more jarring though. I was much less interested in the Covenant. The grunts was it? Right.
Yeah.
Like you did elites at first, and then you switched to grunts.
Yeah.
That was scary. Because we were sitting in the car with the volume all blasted up, and just like that was all you.
And at the end, it's like the very last thing, like ending the podcast. It's just like a long screeching death noise, silence, and then like hitting the ground and tumbling.
Oh, I didn't actually hear that part
Oh.
because we got like right to the end, and then we lost signal out by Rumford.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's why I stopped playing League. I got a mastery score of 69.
I guess you have to pick another champion now.
Yeah. Should I tell my story about why I think I'm dead?
Oh yeah, that's kind of like what you said in the beginning. We should focus on that. I
Yeah.
would like to.
So anyway, a few nights ago, I decided it was a good idea to stay up all night, as I had taken a sleeping pill the day before and slept for like 22 hours straight or something like that. So anyway, I stayed up through the night, and I decided, oh yeah, I guess I'll just clean my house and stuff throughout the night. I at one point opened up the door, and a moth flew in, and I'd never seen a moth out here before, and it basically went into my bedroom, and then it disappeared. Later on, I found it, and I scooped it up, and I brought it outside and let it free. And then after that had happened, about an hour later, I found another moth that was inside my house. I don't know how it got in. Maybe it was the same one, and it just flew back into my house. I don't know. And I never let him out because I couldn't find him after that. But anyway, the next fucking day, I go to work, and as I'm walking down the hallway, there's just dead moths everywhere, just like on the floor as I'm walking in. And like there's this like little area that I go to like talk on my phone and stuff like that, or go on Reddit on my phone, and there's just moths everywhere, like 30 something moths. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And like just other shit started happening where like I would go to a soda machine and like it would just start displaying gibberish on the like where it has a credit card scanner, it would just display like gibberish characters on that screen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, am I dead? Like, what the hell's happening? Like, all this crazy shit is going on, and it just suddenly popped up like out of nowhere. So it's just been jarring. I'm like, am I dying? Are the moths here to show me to the light, or like, am I becoming Mothman? It's been a fucking insane week.
Yeah, yeah, you are living in a simulation there.
Yeah, it's
Or moths just have a short lifespan and tend to die around the same time based on an attraction to something. They'll die in the same area. It's
yeah.
good, but
Well, there's still
everything else
live ones
involved.
too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they're speaking to you.
yeah.
Have you been
So anyway, I bought this giant light off of Amazon. Can't wait for it to come in.
just been hugging it all day?
Do we want like some kind of outro, or should I just stop the recording?
I
Steve,
think
do
you
you have
should
another
just
burp
stop.
ready? It's good enough for
Yeah.
me.
Had to charge that one up.